Hi guys, welcome back to the Lad, the SENDad YouTube channel. Hope everyone's had a lovely Easter. Coming to the end of Bank Holiday Monday now. Just looking outside, lovely weather. If those who looked at the last video, if you hadn't, check it out. It's awesome hacks for SEN families. It's uploaded yesterday or the day before. If you followed that video, we were in Blackpool having a lovely holiday. We got back yesterday. So I'm back now in sunny Southend, enjoying the end of my East holiday. Well, I say that, I still got a week off. I'm lucky. So I thought I'd do a little review of Blackpool as a holiday destination specifically for SEN families. Blackpool is a holiday destination mainly for people in the UK, being a place that people often go to, particularly in the north, for a long time. So I thought I'd just give a little review about how we found it as a family with one of our children having additional needs, and whether I'd recommend it as a place for families like us to go to. So if you're not sure, it's a seaside town in Lancashire. The reason why we picked it is because we found a very nice place very near the Blackpool Stadium, which was a very big house, had stairs, which is great for our kids because both our kids just like going up and down the stairs. And also similar to Southend. Everyone around here was saying it's just a glorified Southend, or it's home away from home, or just Southend in the north. But that works for us because obviously our child likes routine. He likes what he likes, so it's a similar kind of place. So we thought not try anything too daring at the moment. I will do another video about that. I was going to actually put that in the hacks video, but I didn't, about balance and finding the right balance for our children, because we want to push our children, but you don't want to push them too far because that can cause all sorts of problems. So that's why we picked Blackpool. It's a seaside town in Lancashire, and we had a brilliant time. This is going to be a very positive review. It was a very, very good experience, and both our children, one who is neurotypical, one who is neurodivergent, had a brilliant time. So I'm going to put the links in the description of all the places I went to with my kids. Just in case you want to check them out. There's reviews on those websites. There's loads of more information that I'll probably forget. So if you want to have a look through the description and have a look at those links. So the first place we went was Farmer Parr's Farm World, which is basically like a farm place designed, I would say, for smaller children. You go in, the main kind of bit is a place where there's loads of animals. There's sheep, goats, cows, and you buy, little pellets, and they can feed from them. And my little one loves animals. We go to farm places all the time around here. There's loads of places. I'll do another video about the Southend places that's similar. And that's brilliant. It wasn't that busy, thankfully. The staff were very friendly. It was very relaxed. And basically, you can spend as much time as you want just going around, petting the animals, feeding the animals. And both my kids had a really, really good time. My little one likes to go up to the animals, feed them a little bit. He has a thing of wanting to do it one by one. He obviously does it in his own way, because that's often what people on the spectrum do. And he had a really good time, and he often does his stimming and his flapping of his hands near to the animals, and the animals are always very friendly because they're used to people. And that was brilliant. Okay, that was a really, really fun day. I always try, I go out with my kids, the magic time I think to kill is about between 2 and 3 hours. Anything shorter than that is not really enough. You come home and the temptation to put on screens, which you do want to avoid. No screens are necessary sometimes, but you don't want to rely on them too much. And longer than 3 hours, I find my kids begin to struggle with that. Makes them both a bit tired, both a bit fed up, and they begin to, the possibility of a meltdown becomes more realistic. So this was ideal. I think we killed about 2.5 to 3 hours. So because the first bit, as I said, is the kind of farm world bit. They had events going on. They had information workshops about petting little chicks and about handling animals and birds and things like that. So if you're into that, that's great. My child didn't really engage with that. Then they have a playground, which is outside, which is brilliant. Everything you kind of expect from quite a nice playground in a place that's clearly quite well equipped and quite well funded. And there's also a really good soft play place, which is one kind of big room, and there was a bouncy castle, there was a ball pit, there was bean bags, and there was sumo wrestling things that kids could put on and mess about. And that's brilliant as well. And just next door to it, there's a bistro, which is connected to the place, but you can go to if you're even not visiting the farm world. So there's lots of people in there who just came for lunch. That was really nice as well. Staff, again, very relaxed. There's a bar there. The food was really good and relatively cheap. So there's a lot to do at Farmer Parr's Farm World. So if you are in Blackpool, that would definitely be a place I'd recommend. Particularly if your child is, into animals and likes feeding animals, and particularly people on the spectrum who tend to quite enjoy the company of animals and like feeding them and petting them and feeling this kind of sensory element to it. So that was brilliant. Again, that worked really, really well. Then our second place we went to, quite predictably, was the beach. Now, a real important tip about this, because I took my son and daughter to the beach, had a great time. Then I took him again the next day. My daughter was asleep, and it was closed. On high tides, or when it might be dangerous, they close the beach. Now, look that up before you go, because I got in a little bit of a situation with my son where the beach was closed and he wasn't entirely happy, and that's not where you want to be. But if it is open and the tides are low, it's brilliant. The beach is sandy. It was quiet when we went. I think April is a good time to go to Blackpool because I think summer it can get busy. And it's free. The beach is free. It's a great thing about it. And what my son likes to do, he paddles, and at the tide, the waves come in and he runs away and then runs back. Lots of kids like doing that. That's not specific to neurodivergent kids. But he had a brilliant, brilliant time. And sea air is great. It tires kids out. So that's obviously a great interest to all parents, really. And then there's I think it's called the Pleasure Beach. We have something very similar in Southend called Adventure Island, where it's like a basic theme park on the beach, and there's nice views. There's Ferris wheels and dodgems and roller coasters. Now, we had a walk around that. We didn't really engage with it properly because by that time the kids had been out for a long time and the sun was beginning to get a bit too much. But we walked around it. It's brilliant for children, I would say, a bit older than toddlers, and for teenagers, because it's a theme park, there's rides, there's stuff to play with. They do have a Nickelodeon land, which I think is basically supposed to be designated for younger children below the age of 5. We had a brief look around that. It did look really good. There are lots of kind of younger, kind of safer rides. I say safer, less exhilarating. So I would, if I was in Blackpool again, I would check that out and actually try and spend a few hours there. I thought that, the whole Pleasure Beach looked really good. It looked like a lot of fun. A bit of an ordeal, obviously, because I guess it would be busy. It's the type of place that I think can get quite expensive as well. But, I think you go to Blackpool, you've got to spend a bit of time there. All part of the fun. Just got to turn the page of my notes. Now, the next one was it's called the Treasure Cove, which is a kind of big arcade kind of amusement park place, which all seaside towns have. We have one here in Southend, and that was brilliant. Now, that's the sort of place, it's free entry, but it gets very expensive. It does, because everything costs £1 or £2. My son loves those little things that you ride. There's like fake boats or fake horses where there's a screen, and he was on one of them for about 10 minutes, and it's £2 to go, and I spent £10 very, very quickly. So that's something you've got to be aware of. But there's loads of other rides, like a basketball thing. There's Walking Dead things we can do, shoot 'em ups. There's all sorts of really fun arcade games. Now, that's also good for slightly older children as well. We might like gaming. It's obviously not as exciting as the PS5 or whatever the new console is, but I know it's still really, really good fun. And there's also at the Treasure Cove, kids eat free. There's 2 or 3 restaurants and bars there. But whichever one you go to, as long as it's in the place, kids eat free, which is brilliant. And the food's relatively cheap. You have to have one adult meal with that. So that worked really well. And there's a couple of nice rides there. There's a ghost train, which is, fine. And then there's another ride which goes right up all around the place, nice and slow. Really good for younger kids. I think it's called the Pirate Ship or the Pirate Ride or something. And that was brilliant. Both my kids loved that. And they didn't love it as much, too much, where they wanted to go on it again and again and again, which can be quite difficult. But yeah, that was a really nice day. And again, that killed about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So definitely check that out. Okay, but just be a bit wary about how quickly the money can rack up. And that's right in the centre of Blackpool. There's also a couple of lovely parks. So we stayed near the football ground, Bloomfield Road, I think it's called. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a nice park just nearby called Watson Row Park, where there's a very nice little cafe. There's a small playground there. There's a little secret garden. It's very similar to the park we have here, which is called Priory Park. So we went there one day with both my children. They both loved it. There's also Stanley Park, which is a lot bigger. We had a brief walk around there. It looked lovely. It looked really good, but we didn't spend much more time there. Another place that I didn't get to, I was wrestling with this idea about taking my son to a football game, Blackpool FC, who are in League One. They had a really big game against Exeter, who were just below them in the League One table, and Exeter were just in the relegation zone, and Blackpool just won above it. So it was a really big 6-pointer, as they say. It was on Good Friday because we went on the Easter weekend at 3 o'clock. Now, football grounds outside of the Premier League, 25% of their fan bases, from my experience. I mean, that's not a proper fact, so don't go looking up on AI. But I would say about that from my experiences, that's from going to Southend United, that's from going to Sheffield United, that's from going to Swindon Town. 25% of the fan base would have some sort of disability, whether it be learning or physical. So I thought it might be an idea, and we didn't do it in the end. I haven't yet taken to a game at Southend, but it's definitely something that I might consider when he gets a bit older. And if you are in Blackpool, go. Go. Football tourism is great. You get to see real people. The atmosphere is always good. Hopefully the game's all right. Apparently it's very tense. I think they won 1-0. The Blackpool ground, there's a nice shop. There's a couple of statues of legendary players. So it's a nice little thing that you could do. There's also Blackpool Zoo, which we didn't get to. That was on our list as well. That if you're into zoos, I know people have their issues with zoos, that's a place that I'd look up as well. So for a weekend, or maybe even a week, I think Blackpool's a brilliant place, particularly for SEN children. People are friendly. It's very relaxed. A lot of the activities are designed for children or toddlers. Yeah, and a lot of these people who are designing these things now, I think, have one eye on people with SEN needs. I'd like to think that's definitely the impression I get from, being there. And, Blackpool and Southend are brilliant places. I live in Southend, been living here for 4 years now. Very, very happy here. They're places that, if you go online into some, nasty kind of places, people often aren't that positive about. These areas do have their social problems. They're I'm sure you could find crime if you look for it. But all of that is nonsense. The people on the whole are lovely. There's lots of things to do. The atmosphere in most of the places is very, very nice. The parts of it are run down, and I don't want to get into government issues and how these areas have been underfunded and neglected for years. And, unfortunately, English tourism or staycations aren't as big as they were. Maybe they are making a comeback in more recent times, but it's not that much more expensive to go to Spain, where you guarantee get the weather. So some of these areas have suffered in that respect, but I think a lot of that is just nonsense. And these places, Blackpool, I'm recommending. I think it was a brilliant place for families. And Southend, where we live, is brilliant. There's loads of things to do here for families and particularly for children with SEN needs. And both places, I thought people were welcoming and nice and relaxed, which is what you need. It's what you need when you have that anxiety of going out, trying to do things, trying to have fun, and trying to tire your child out and also give them a fun time. You want people who are around who are relaxed and chilled out, and that's the impression I got. So I'd go again. And if you are thinking about going to Blackpool for a holiday and you're a bit worried because you've got children with additional needs, go for it. I can't recommend it anymore. The links for all those places will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Mike Lad, SENDad. Like and subscribe.